She tweeted she was so excited to see Ariana Grande, whom she'd been photographed with 2 years ago. A friend has described Georgina as a beautiful girl with the kindest heart and soul. She was just 16 years old. Well, Sarah Morris has been following the story for us from Manchester. She joins us now live. Hi, Sarah. Is anything more known about the identity of the suspected bomber as well as the arrest that's been made?
Well, no, police are keeping their cards very close to their chest, Andrea, and of course what they're trying to do now is work out if the bomber was working alone or if he's part of a larger network. So they won't release too many details in case it does jeopardise their police operation that's ongoing. But what we do know is that a 23-year-old man has now been arrested in connection to the bombing. We understand that he was arrested not far from the area here where this bombing has happened. But in the last couple of minutes or so, there's also been a police raid on a residential area not far from here, about a 15-minute drive. We understand police are heavily armed and in riot gear, have stormed into a flat. They've been yelling at the public to stay back and stay out of the way while they do that. That's just one of the police operations that's been going on. There may be more. We're not sure yet. Police obviously working very hard now on their investigation. What has also happened, though, which shows, Andrea, just how on edge the city is there was another police situation in not far from here in a shopping centre. Shopping centre ended up being evacuated and that had nothing in the end to do with the bombing, but you can understand now that people really are quite jumpy after last night's events.
It is, as expected, a city on edge today. It's only 14 or so hours after the attack. Sarah, tell us more about how people in Manchester are coping.
Well, Andrew, in that stoic British way, people are determined to just get on with it. People certainly turning up to work. But we've interviewed now a number of people who are local, some who've been to the concert last night, some who just live in this city. And the word numb is the word most of them have used. You hear about terror attacks on the news very regularly. No one thought it would happen in their backyard. And, of course, that's exactly what has happened. Now, many of them angry as well, and perhaps sad's another word we should be using, that the terrorist appears to have attacked young children, mainly young teenage girls. Of course, that is the target market for Ariana Grande's concerts, and so that is certainly upsetting people. But in saying that, everyone is trying to go to work, although the trains this morning on the way to work were very empty. I have spoken now to a mother and her daughter who were at the concert last night. The young girl's just 11, and this was a treat for her, being allowed to go to this concert. Let's have a listen to what they saw last night.
So basically the final song ended, Ariana walked out, the lights went back on and everyone was just getting ready to settle off and exit. So we went down the stairs on our right, and as soon as we started walking we heard a bang and it was really loud and frightening, and a lot of people screamed and everyone was really confused at the time. So once we reached the end of the staircase, it was just a big lake or just people running and sprinting to get out, pushing over everyone. And I didn't think it was anything like a terrorist or something happened, like a bomb. So I was just confused and pretty scared, but my mum assured me and we managed to get out.
All we really experienced was the sheer panic and people just screaming, the fear, sheer fear from all these young people who were literally running for their lives.
And Sarah, since the explosion, a number of witnesses have come out to say that they noticed a lack of security detail at the venue, and said some of the members of the security team there were actually more focused on removing bottles of water from people entering the stadium rather than actually checking for weapons. What more are you hearing about that?
Certainly everyone we've spoken to has brought that up, Andrea. They say there was a bag check, but really it wasn't a very thorough bag check. In some cases, bags weren't checked at all. I'm told this is not unusual for this venue. Some people telling us they've been to several concerts here where they felt the security just wasn't up to scratch. Many calling for an airport-style security at a concert hall like this. It is a big concert hall, Andrea. It seats around 21,000 people. And interestingly, the foyer into this concert hall is linked up to the local train station, so people can come off the train and directly into the foyer. And of course there has been this complaint that the security was perhaps not up to scratch. But on the other hand, where the bomber has struck is outside the actual concert hall itself, rather in the foyer, so perhaps he didn't even have to go through any bag checks or anything like that to cause the havoc that he did, because he didn't go actually into the venue where the concert was being held. But it's one of many answers that people will be being asked for over the coming days. Of course, security forces here, we know, do an excellent job in the UK at foiling terror plots. We understand around one a week is foiled, but in this case, sadly, this one did get through. So the government is holding their high-level security meetings. We know that's going on. The venue itself will obviously have some answers that are being looked for, and that will all come out in the coming days.
Sarah, I'm going to have to interrupt you there because officials from Greater Manchester Health are now speaking outside the Manchester Royal Infirmary, where some of the victims are being attended to. Let's listen in.
Good afternoon. So last night when I arrived in the control centre shortly after the incident was declared, which was around 10:46 p.m, we'd already mounted the beginnings of our response. We sent 60 vehicles to the site, along with highly specialised crews, highly specialised teams that were able to stabilise patients at the scene, ensure that they received the right treatment at the scene before evacuation to the hospital, where we took 59 patients to the local A&Es around the Greater Manchester area. We've worked in collaboration with John and his partners for quite some time, preparing plans for situations such as this. We put those plans into place. We know each other well. We work together well as a team. Those plans were implemented and patients were cared for appropriately, quickly, with very good leadership from the local teams, and then very good care once they arrived in the hospitals, and they were straight to theatre if necessary, with hardly any delay at all for nearly all the hospitals around the region.